Hello.
Hi.
So we are here this morning on our way to camp.
It's like 6 something in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Going to camp.
And
Bringing ice.
It would be all fancy and have like a stand for the phone, except I don't. So I'm holding the phone, which is why you might see it shake sometimes. But we are here to actually talk to you about camp, and camp at a bigger level. Just kind of the Christopher Heidi vision.
Life update.
Yep.
So, let's see, in 2021, for, anybody who doesn't know, I was fired from my job after bringing up some concerns about how payroll was handled at the company that I was working for. I sent out an email, just kind of, saying, hey, I've noticed these things, just kind of bringing up some questions, just being like, hey, like this stuff seems like it could, potentially get us in trouble if we kept doing things like this. Was this a decision that was well thought through? Just like a general, just inquiry, not thinking it was anybody's fault. Mostly it was just kind of like, I think maybe we're all overworked, because this just seems like, an oversight on us. I was part of the administrative team who made those decisions too. Anyway, so within like 2 hours of sending out that email, I was fired and basically not allowed to go out until everybody had left the building, so that no one would talk to me. So that's kind of how we came into the end of 2021, and I looked for a job for several months, couldn't find anything, just kept having people who said they were interested, and then no's, and then people who didn't reach out altogether. Anyone who just looked for a job isn't surprised by any of that, but basically all I could find was like entry-level jobs at like restaurants and stuff like that. So,
and at this point too, I was pregnant with Joseph, so we also had a little person coming who was depending on us. It wasn't just us anymore either.
So yeah, it was a pretty scary moment. Lots of prayers, lots of faith, and eventually Heidi and I were both like, well, I had spent all this time. One of the things that I did was I was in charge of the entire summer camp portion of where I worked. So I was fired somewhere mid to late 2021. So now it's February of 2022. We don't have any money. We just need a way to make money. So we're like, well, we can just, if we can find somewhere that will let us run a camp on their property, we can use all this, knowledge and planning that I put together. So we contact some parks to see if some local parks will let us run a camp there, and we actually make some pretty great connections, and we end up getting to run 2 different locations that summer, and we had over 100, and I think it was 158. We had 158 registrations by the time that the summer was over. Now, when we started this summer, we did not.
I had like 56.
We had like 56 registrations. We didn't even have enough to pay everyone when we started this summer. But by the time that summer was over, we had enough to pay everyone and enough to pay our bills. And then we had a really great ministry that had saw some worth in some of the knowledge, some of the administrative knowledge I had, and basically just sort of paid me almost like a retainer to be there to travel with them, to help them solve problems with tech stuff and some administrative and like media law related stuff, and all that. So that sustained us through until this summer, and Heidi and I talked about it quite a bit, and we decided we were gonna keep the camp going. We had several people ask us if we were going to, so we actually took on our first staff member other than us to help us with everything, they were in charge of designing the programming, and moving into this summer, we had a week, which is actually, that's what today is. It's the first day of the week. We had a weekly theme called Bounce and Jump Camp, and we knew with the name Bounce and Jump Camp, you're going to have a bounce house there at some point, or people are going to, get disappointed or be confused or whatever. So that's actually what today is. Today is Monday of Bounce and Jump Camp. So we were trying to find, how much does it cost to rent a bounce house, blah, blah, blah. We found that it was almost as cheap to buy one as it was to rent one. And then looking on how do you buy a bounce house and all that, we found a company close to us that was wanting to sell out. And they had some bounce houses and some other rental equipment and everything. They were wanting to sell out. It's a bunch of stuff that's super useful to camp. Rock climbing towers, giant obstacle courses, and it's all mobile. So it's perfect for what we do, since all of our camps are done at, parks and rec centers.
And it also just fits with like a lot of the other stuff that Christopher and I are wanting to do, between storytelling and events, like getting people together, connecting people. It fits well with us in general.
So anyway, we contact the broker who's working on, basically selling the company. And, I had recently been fired from my job the year before in 2021. Last year, so 2022, we had barely squeaked by. We just kind of, coming up with a camp on the spot almost, So we knew that, financially we were one of the least likely suspects to be able to close on like a $1.5 million deal. But, in faith, we reached out anyway, and
started making the connections
and found a bank that, against all odds, was willing to take, a huge chance on us and help us get the SBA loan to be able to do the whole endeavor. And we reached out to a company, like a mortgage company, to take out a home equity line of credit, or a first mortgage on our house,
so that we could have our
10% ejection we have to have for the SBA loan, which comes out to $172,000. Our house appraised at $220,000. We own it outright. There's no liens, no other mortgages on it. We own the full thing. So we attempted to do that. They gave us pre-approval. They gave us a loan estimate. All the paperwork was signed. We brought it to the bank that had worked with us so graciously to get the small business loan to be able to acquire this other business. And then kind of just last week, the whole side with the mortgage company just kind of flipped on us and fell through, and they basically just said that they weren't willing to do it. So I guess now at this point we're kind of where we're lined up. We're ready to go to close on a company that is on track to be making more than $1 million in the coming year, and
we can't buy it because of $172,000.
And we can't buy it because of $172,000 that we have to have as owner injections. So, we're kind of at the point of just praying and crying out to God and trying to figure out what on earth to do, and what we should be doing and how to move forward. And in the midst of all this, there's been escrow money that's had to be put aside that came from the summer camp that we're running. That is obviously money that we needed to run the summer camp, but it was supposed to be fine because this whole ordeal was supposed to be done before the end of May. We were supposed to have bought the other business, been closed out before the end of May. So now we have something like $15,000
tied up
tied up that we can't get access to,
Mm-hmm.
that is needed to, you know, finish out camp this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment it's looking like, you know, like we can't close anytime soon on the deal because we're missing that money. So yeah.
Well, and also just it's not even just our side, but it's also the sellers now have been counting on us buying it. We have been counting on us buying it, because everything with the SBA went through just fine. So like there's been a lot of time and money invested at this point.
Well, and also our word is very important to us, and we
Mm-hmm.
gave our word to several people, the SBA, the banks, the current owners of the company, that, like, you know, we were going to complete the purchase. So,
well, and I mean, we weren't promising something we couldn't do. Like we were,
no, we
promised
had the
we
paperwork.
would see it through.
Yeah, and we had the paperwork saying that we could do it. The mortgage people just changed their mind on us. So,
So we've been pursuing different options since then, and this is, I guess, our final week.
yeah. So we've got until like July 1st ish, really, to find $172,000
Mm-hmm.
to be able to close on the deal. We have opened up a pre-registration sale for our summer camp to try to get some parents to go ahead and register for next year to help build up that, to get some of those funds. But we also just wanted to reach out to the people we knew, let them know where we were at, what we were doing, and, you know, ask for them to be praying, and if, you know, they had any ideas or anyone that could help, or if they could help in any way, that, you know,
Yeah,
we would not be opposed to that.
we would love to work with investors too at this point too.
Yeah.
We would, I mean, like we said, we're stepping into a business that makes a lot of money every year. So like we're willing, we're not wanting that for just our benefit. Like we're wanting it for the benefit of other people and being able to employ people.
Well, and also just to keep the company from shutting down too. Like,
yeah.
that's a big part of it. And as far as the $172,000 go, it with the projections of the way that the company's going, and I've even sat down with like all their books. I kind of joke that I think I know more of the money that they make and spend than they do at this moment, because I've been through them so much. The whole $172,000 could easily be paid in a year. It could be paid back in a year. So it's not a matter of is it a good loan or a good bet, as much as it's just getting it to the finish line is really where it's at. And
this is our final piece of the puzzle. There are other pieces still, you know, being put into place on the seller side and the bank side, as far as like the closing paperwork and stuff. But this is like our final piece of the puzzle.
mm-hmm.
So we're just praying for God to open the door, if this is something we're supposed to do.
Yeah, and the bank that helped us get the SBA loan, that you know, we're needing the $172,000 for the equity injection that was supposed to be coming from the mortgage. Like, they have been very upfront and honest with us and told us that, you know, the reason that they've been able to secure the SBA loan and, you know, work with us is because of Heidi and I, and like our business savvy and our knowledge and the business plan that we put together for the company that we'd be purchasing. They were very, very impressed with how much knowledge we had, and
it's not our financial status.
It's not our financial status. So like,
so someone else has taken a big chance on us.
Yeah. So I mean,
Joseph.
He's waiting. Yeah. So this whole deal is riding on the fact that people who do this for a living, who you know, and like a bank, so not an investing firm, but a bank, someone who like very much wants to make sure that every single dollar that they give out, they will get back, if not more. Like they're very, you know, that's the function of them. looked at a business plan that we put together and was so impressed by our knowledge and how well we had put it together
and our experience
that they were willing to overlook the fact that in 2021 we had a huge loss on our income, and you know, basically have a company that's, you know, in like year 2 of operation. So yeah, it's one of those things that the only way we would even be here is if God had put us here. So, and I mean, it's been that way every step along the way. So anyway, we just wanted to give you guys all an update, let y'all know where we were at,
ask you to pray,
and ask you if y'all have any advice, any information. Yeah,
and ask you if you'd be willing to invest.
Yeah, that would be great too. So anyway, that's where we are. This has been the Christopher and Heidi life update. A little bit exciting, a little bit depressing, but very adventurous and really full of God's hand. So
yeah.
Anyway, thanks for taking time to listen to us ramble as we drove to camp. We do have to hop out because we got to get things started here, but thanks for listening, guys. Bye.